So once again, we're going to have to, so we have a new scene here. This is a level, right? So I have a main and a level. This is my main. This is my level. So you just double click on them, they pop open. So the first thing I gotta do is go ahead and go to Game Object, UI, and we need to do an image because we need to put the background image into that. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag that into the sprite, and we'll set native size. I'm gonna go to my canvas, make sure that was everything I needed to do. Yeah, that's good. Everything's zeroed out up here, so that's good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down to this stuff, and we're going to do scale of screen size, and we're going to do 640 by 360. This is all good. Okay, yeah, that's all good. All right, so, and we're just going to rename this background again. Background. Okay. Alrighty, so now we have this background image. It's on the canvas, and it's all loaded up. So the other thing that we need to do is basically import our cards. So I'm going to select the canvas, game object, and UI. I'm going to do another image, and it's this thing here. And I'm just going to go ahead and call this card. Let me make sure it's capitalized. Card back. Now notice that I do camel case, meaning that the second letter of the second word is capital. And I'm going to make sure I hit enter. And honestly, it's whatever card back makes you feel warm and fuzzy. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll do green this time. So make sure, see this still says texture. So let's grab all of these. I'm going to grab all of these ones down here. And we're going to change it from texture to sprite in 2D. And I'm also going to change the pixels per unit. What this does is it basically scales the image as its default. So like when you bring in an image, how many pixels are there in each unit? So hang on a second. So these are units. So how many pixels fit inside of each one of these units? Okay, so it's a good way of keeping things uniform. So if you make things in one program, you can bring them in here and just be like everything gets brought in. If it works like in your 2D program, say everything's going to be 300, which is actually what we're going to do. I'm going to do 300. You can say, okay, everything gets brought into that. I'm going to hit apply. And it's going to take a second for it to load up. But basically, that just keeps it uniform. Same thing happens in 3D because everything's relative. So when you bring in something from 3D, you would bring in, and there's a scale that you can bring in as well. But for 2D, it's a little more simple, I think, in some regards. So I'll have all these in there. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, good. So I'm going to scroll up here, and so I'm going to grab a green one. Yeah, we'll do this one. Okay, so card back, and where's that one? So number 2, card back. I'm going to grab number 2, and I'm going to drop it into the sprite. Now if you look, huzzah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set native size, and there you go. Now it looks a little bit better. And image type looks less. No, we want that's fine. That looks good. Okay. So if I go on the game view, you can see there it is. Looks pretty okay to me. No big issues. All right. Okay. So card back. And basically what I'm going to do is, I can't remember how many I had. I think I had 12 total, right? So it's 4 by 3. Is that what I did? Hang on a second. I don't remember what I had. Sorry, not that one. Build, and I'm gonna play this real quick and see what our number was. I can't remember. I think it's start 4 by 3. Okay, so we're gonna do 4 by 3. Okay. So that being said, I am going to take this. I got 0, 0, 0. So that means it's like in the center. So I'm going to just go ahead, Control D, and duplicate it. And I'm going to move it up, and it needs to be, let's see, 60. We'll say 70 looks pretty good. That's good. And I'm going to duplicate it again. and we'll put underneath, and that should be minus 70. Minus 70, good. And grab all three of these, Control D, move it over this way. Now, because I'm going 4 across, I can't actually be off a center here, so I'm going to take these three, and I'm going to take my position, and I'm going to do minus 25. Sorry, we'll do 25. And I'm going to grab these three, and we'll do minus 25. And that puts them close to each other. I just know the number. What I'm going to do is just duplicate that and put it over here, and it should be minus 75. I think it's because I'm behind it, actually. That's why it's weird. All right, and then we'll Control D to duplicate, and this will be 75 for the positive x. Okay, so basically minus 25 for this row, 25 on x anyway. And then, so now I got my numbers, right? So minus 25, 25, 75, and minus 75. So basically I laid those all out, and those are my card back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create an empty, and I'm just going to call it cards. And I'm going to create another empty, create empty, and we're going to call it card backs. And I'm going to take all these card backs, and I'm going to drop them onto that. Good. All right, so the idea is that this way I have all of them in one chunk here. It makes things a little bit easier. All right, so that looks good. Some things that would be good to put on this as well, so I got them all placed, is I forgot to add onto these, because these are actually the things that we are going to be let's see, why am I not getting, let's undo some of that. I just want to see, I had them all, okay. Alright, and then let's see if I put all these now underneath that, underneath this. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so I got them underneath there. One of the things I want to do is I actually want to make all these buttons so that when you click on them, they'll do something, right? So I have all my assets more or less loaded in, and that looks fine. But if you look at, I have this rectangle transform, and that's basically controlling the size and the position. And I have the image that's being attached to it, but what I don't have is a way of clicking on these. So I'm actually going to go ahead and add a component to these. And I'm going to type in button, and then you can see button, because basically we're going to click on these. So I'm going to turn these into buttons more or less. So that's good. All right, so those are our card backs. And what I need to do now is actually do the card fronts, which is basically the same deal. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate these. I got this group here. I'm going to go ahead and Control D. So now I have this whole section of card backs, and I'm going to change this to card fronts. Fronts. Beauteous. And basically what we're going to do is I am going to change, we don't need actually buttons for these, so I'm going to shift and so you select the first one, hold shift, grabs and select the bottom one, grabs a whole chunk. I'm going to right click over this and go remove component. I don't need that on there. Anything you can get rid of is always better. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is basically go through and place these cards, the different images on these. Okay, so cards club 2, I'm going to go all the way up to 7 because that's how many it takes in order to fill this up. So I'm going to go to this one, and I'm going to drop this onto there, and then it shows up there. I got to put it on 2 of them. I'm going to go ahead and change the name of this to card 02, so I know which card it is. And then I'm going to put it on this one. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and change this one to also card 02. And then I'm going to go to card 3 here, and we'll drop it in there. I'm going to call this one card 03. And I'm bad at spelling, card 03. I'm going to drop it on this one as well. And we're going to call this one also card 03. Or it's card. And we'll go to here, and I'm going to go ahead and make that the 4. So I'm just dropping that 4 onto this, and this will be card 04. And we'll put card 04 there. Card 04. Alright. And we'll put 5 there. Oops. Sorry. 5 here. And card 05. Ah, crap. Alright. Card 05. Card 06. And card 06. Enter. And then we're going to do our card 07s. Alright. Card 07. And card 07. Alright, good. So now we have our card fronts, and they're all named appropriately, so we can get those set up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'll put it behind, come on, underneath. So the idea is this, is that if you take this, I turn this off, the ones on the bottom are in front of the ones on the top. So that's why I took the card fronts and put it behind card backs. That was the whole purpose behind it. Because what we're going to do is that as we reveal the cards, we're just going to turn them off, the ones that are above, which in this case are card backs. And that's how we're going to reveal the cards. It's the simplest way to do it. There's fancier ways. I could do animation and all sorts of other business, but we're not going to do that. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is on these card backs, I need to make a script. So we're going to make another script, and it's basically going to be our card script. So I'm going to go create JavaScript, and we're going to call it card script. Okay. All right. And I'm going to, let's try that again. Drag that underneath the scripts. Okay. And I am going to go to here. And we are, actually we don't need to add the script to that, so that's good. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to open up this card script. And it's going to open up MonoDevelop, and it's going to give me this real basic thing. Now, you don't have to use this MonoDevelop, although it is better. There's definitely other options as well. But this is where we're at right now. So I'm actually going to stop it here, and then we'll start coding for it on the next video.